DibtheAwesome here to give you another Monster Legends guides. Where we talk about monsters' moves, their rune sets, their partners, move sets. I think I said that already, but yeah, all that jazz. And today we are talking about Monster D.Vice. Sorry, that's just a really cool name. It's like Monster D.Vice. Yeah, it's like a DJ pretty much, or just like a DJ name. But yeah, this guy is really cool. He's the newest premium monster, 300 gems. It's like Singularius, like Apex. It's 299 gems. Well, basically 300 gems. It's just, you get one gem less, uh, which doesn't make too much of a difference. You basically pay 300 gems, for this monster. Uh, is this monster? I will say, is this monster worth buying? I actually got one. I will say yes, he is worth getting. Uh, is he good on defense? I don't know. It depends on if he's AI idiot proof or not, or how often he actually does his better moves first before anything else. Uh, I will say this guy has a lot of nifty moves. So he has a pretty high chance of not screwing up. I mean, like with the AI version, he has a pretty high chance not to screw up. I hope he just doesn't do his single attacks on like the common and shit. We'd have to see. We'd have to wait and see actually what he actually does in PvP, or what he does first in PvP and stuff like that. I would think it would be one of his AOE's. That was common when I was doing the boss fight. He would do one of his AOE's, usually the stamina refill one. Which isn't a good order. I mean, like, which isn't the first thing you should probably do. You should probably use his immunities buff. But let's get into it. I'll explain. I'll talk about it more after I've explained everything about him. All right. So Monster D.Vice. His power is 3080. This isn't a good power. It's okay because he's not even an attacker, so you can disregard this stat. This guy is like irrelevant. It's like the same thing with an attacker with the speed stat. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter how fast it is because it just matters on the damage output with attackers. And in this case, it's the speed for deniers and supporters. This is a pretty alright speed. His life is 28,651. This is a pretty basic life. It's not a bad life. Thankfully, it's not any lower. It is workable. It's doable. You can put the life rune on this guy. I will say that you can put a life rune on this guy. You don't have to shove full speed runes on him. Most people will run full speed rune. That's totally acceptable. This guy you can build him extra supportive, or just support like a supportive heal, like extra health set. That's totally fine. He probably would welcome it too because like Earth monsters are so common in Monster Legends. Uh, so bringing a life rune might not be too bad of an idea. Might not even matter. Maybe just want to run full speed runes. I don't know what you want to do, but it's a life that you can work with. It is a life you can work with. The speed is 3,465. I will say before I continue this monster is pretty much like Kalik and Sarah. And I did my homework, and he is slower than Sarah, but he has the same speed as Kalik. I want you to guys keep that in mind. He's got the same speed as Kalik, but he is slower than Sarah. Which is I don't know too much on Sarah. I mean, like because yeah, I don't know what the AI will do first with Sarah. I mean, they probably will do an AOE support or anything like that, so it's not too bad. I mean, I don't even think it matters too much. But yeah, if they do a single target attack with Sarah, odds are it's going to be towards your common. I think that's really all it. This is nothing too major. But yeah, okay. So his ultimate, I'm calling your mom. May stun all targets, may apply bad connection to all targets. This is 2 turn 30% slow. And it's a for sure land too. This is an interesting debuff. I don't know how effective it is. I mean, I've been hit. I've seen people be hit with it before. I don't know if it's worse. I would imagine it'd be worse than slow, because slow is only 20%. This is another 10% off your speed. I can imagine this like if this was put on like an Oros or like a Ringer, they're not moving at all. They have no speed at that point. So it's really effective against the things that are already slow to begin with. So if your enemy's using a really slow attacker and you get this on the first turn, odds are they're never going to get to move. Just never. Unless you don't do any damage at all. That's the only time they are moving. This is a good I will say this is a good ultimate. We're not going to talk about any of the moves here, except that low battery. This is a 50% stamina drain, just in case if you were interested in running this. It is runnable. Again, you're not looking at the damage, you're looking at the effect, and 50% is normal stuff. It's normal single target stuff, but he does have a better version. I'm just saying it's an option you can run. Slow connection. This is deals heavy thunder damage, may slow target. This is a spammable slow. 40% chance. Don't run this move. I mean, well, you can't. I will say. Well, I guess before I continue, I guess you can run anything from like his sets and like his skill groups do, and that one move in skill groups one will be expectable. But this is the lowest effect he can land. It's not too high of a chance again, so you probably want to run something a little more decent. Well, like this and like dazzling content, but I'll get to the reason why you might want to run this move a little bit. But updated software. This gives immunity to burn, daze, stun, and freeze to all allies. This is basically an upgraded version of Calyx AoE. Usually just gives the stun immunity, freeze immunity, and daze. This does another effect, which is burning, which is pretty common in wars. You will see Darmith. People use Darmith and it has an AoE burning and stuff like that. This burning is a pretty common effect. I will say that. It's the highest damage AoE. If they're not running bleeding, they're running burning. That's That's one thing for sure. This is his best move. Put it on. You have to put this move on. It prevents other enemy monsters to deny, and in most situations that's great. That's ideal. Plus he's not really immune to a deny, which kind of hurts him. But you know, if he is this guy needs to be faster. I will say this: this guy needs to be faster than your enemy. Just hands down. If he's not, then he has trouble with, you know, because he can be denied and shit like that. He does need to be faster than the enemy. Dazzling content. This deals low special damage to all enemies, 50% chance of applying damage reduction and dazing to all targets. This is basically Toy Master's AoE, but a very nerfed version of it. Yeah, just extremely nerfed of it. Because it's 100% chance, and this one's just 50%. I said this move was optional to run because he has a move that can increase the everyone's accuracy, so this would turn into 100%, I think. Or it would land more often than not. So you can run this move. I will say this move is runnable. Is it? Yeah, I will say it's. I mean, like with damage reduction and dazing, that's a lot of damage. You've lost a lot of damage at that point. Just straight up, you lost a lot of damage. I know most people don't even like damage reduction all that much. I know like they don't like dazing, they don't like damage reduction. But if you're running a tanky team, this is very ideal. This is really great for tank teams. I will say that. This move is really great for tank teams. Reboot device. Deals moderate special, not moderate special, moderate thunder damage. May reboot target, requires cooldown. This is actually a really handy move. I will say run this move. I will probably say you should probably run all the moves in skill groups 3. So reboot device, you know, this is reboot. You do want to put this on. It's not an advanced possession. It's like a normal possession. It's just a renamed possession and stuff like it. I honestly thought it was an advanced possession at first, but it's not. Reboot is not an advanced possession. Possession. La 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 la. Words. Possession. Yes, it's not an advanced possession. So yeah, send to all members. May haste all allies, may give for precision to all allies. Adds 50% stamina to all allies, requires cooldown. I will say, this is one of the more handy moves. Or like this is his second handy move. Besides, like the first move was the, you know, immunity to stuff and stuff like that. This is his second best move. This recovers. It's not like I don't think it's like Lux's Aura's stamina refill. You know, it refills everything. This one's only 0.5%. Or like, you know, 50%, you know. Plus it gives precision and haste. It is basically like it's like Lux's, except it doesn't remove any negative effects, and it more so just hastes. And again, it's like Calyx too, because, you know, Calyx gives precision and stamina regen. This one does precision and energy. It's kind of like a mixture of a little bit of mixture of supportive monsters, just a little bit. From all the other like OP supportives and stuff like that, like Lux, Calyx, and Zera. Very low battery. This is a very good move. This deals very moderate special damage, removes 75 stamina from target, requires cooldown. That's a lot of I kid you not. That's really good stamina drain. This is the move you have to run this move for sure. Run this move because I'll be honest, this is a Voltic killer. I was very surprised at the comments like because okay, so now that I've actually explained like all the moves and stuff like that, it's just okay. So a lot of people don't think this monster is all that great. It's pretty much that conversation. It's always that conversation like, oh, why use any Thunder monster when Voltic exists? Voltic is the best. It's always that situation. Every time a new Thunder monster comes out, I kid you not. If you guys ever read the wiki comment, it's always that conversation. I'm gonna scroll down here to see. I want to see this. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see this. There's at least one comment. We'll find at least one comment on here that says that. I know. There's at least one comment. There's at least one comment. Yeah, there it is. There it is. There's the comment. This guy right here, CSI Market Twig. This guy right here, he made a comment. I'm not. He's not the only one. I'm sure. I'm just pointing him out because he's the first one I scrolled down to see. But this guy made the comment. But Voltic and Xyla are just too good to be replaced by him. That's the problem with OP monsters like those two. He points that out really. He does point that out. That's the exact thing. Every time a new Thunder monster out, it's always like, but Voltic and Xyla are just too good to be replaced. It's that same conversation every time. It's the same people just disregard all the Thunder monsters that every monster that comes out that's not like a Voltic or Xyla, they just completely disregard. Just completely. It's like the whole deal with like Fire Lake Coin isn't that good as of a monster because doesn't do any damage. He's not an attacker. He's a supporter. This guy isn't Voltic, but he's a good monster. It's just mind-boggling. In fact, this guy counters Voltic. This guy drains 75% stamina. If you're on the attack and you use this guy and the enemy's using an Voltic and shit, they're done for because they can't do any shit. They can't do shit when there's 75% of stamina drain. Shit, if you really want to make sure they don't do shit the whole game, just run low battery too. Like instead of like running the possession, run low battery. You're gonna be able to control that Voltic pretty much the whole game because you're probably gonna be running full speed runes. He's probably gonna get more turns in and all that shit. Oh, this guy counters Voltic really hard. This guy's a heavy counter to Voltic on the attack. I don't know how good he'll be on the defense, but on attack he's really good. It's like, it's the same concept with Fire Lake Glen. Don't use him on don't put him on a defensive team. Put him on an attacking team. The results are much better. There's a lot of monsters that work a lot better when you're in control of them. I think a lot of people just don't like using monsters because they're also not AI idiot proof. Voltic is AI. I would say like Voltic is the best AI idiot proof monster. Besides, like, I don't know. Well, the Thetis can screw up most time, but more often than not, she does the stamina drain or like Timeron, whatever. AI. When I say AI idiot proof, it means like whatever this monster does, something bad happens. It doesn't matter what order it does, something bad happens. I'd say Voltic is the king because there's 4 extra turn moves and he can't possibly not get an extra turn in because there's 4 extra turns. That's why he's AI already proof. I think they it's weird because they disregard if it's not a Voltic, it's just disregarded. It's just not a thing. It's like, and this guy's a supporter too. He shouldn't even be compared to an attacker or something like that. He's in a different category. Voltic's broken and stuff like that to begin with. But yeah, this guy is actually really good. He's like a Kalik. He's like a Sarah. He can prevent people from getting frozen and stunned, which is that's the basic thing in Monster Legends. That's the basic norm. It's always the discussion of, whose denier is faster, who's got the the best trait to counter the other denier. It's I guess why people spam like Cavenfish or like Kalik, because immune into freeze. Every single person, like there's most of the people I bet in Monster Legends use a freezing denier. It's a common thing. It's a common principle. People use that because it's spammable. You can refreeze and stuff like that. That's why people like to spam Cavenfish. That's why people like to spam Kalik. They're immune to freeze. And they're they can be fast too. Like Kalik's really fast. And if they don't have if neither of them have a good trade and stuff like that, it goes to it's always who's faster first to begin with, and the second thing is the trait. But more often than not, it is who's got the faster deny. Is my deny better than yours, or it depends on. Of course, it depends on the team comp too. But more often than not, is whose monster is faster? Is my monster faster than yours? Are you going to be able to deny me, or am I going to be able to deny you? That is the true question for every game. That's literally. I bet I'm not even the only one that does this too. I literally before I even start a game, I look at the speed stat of their denier. Every game, I bet I'm not the only one that does that. I am not. I can't not possibly be the only one that does that. Unless it's just people that just like to fight for fun or just fight random people. Yeah, I usually look into that. I usually look to see what's their denier, what's the speed, and all that jazz before going in. That's what I do. And that's usually how most games end, is because you're denied first. Like, that's why I don't like fighting Thetis, because more often than not she does the stamina drain, and after she stamina drains me, I mean, like, that's well, it's not just me either. Like, mostly everyone too. The game's over at that point because you can't do anything. At that point, you're either chain denied or like. And all that jazz. It's just a bunch of stuff. And this guy is like kind of an anti-deny too, because he's got the AOE anti-deny. He's got like he's got an immunity to freeze and an immunity to stun with his AOE. Within his AOE, of course, like, you can deny this guy. I'm not saying he's not deniable. I mean, like, he's got immunity to daze, so you can like freeze this guy, uh, and stuff like that. You can stun him, you can freeze him. But if he goes first, you can usually play. It is a good player control. I don't know if he's 100% AI idiot proof. Uh, but he can keep people from getting stunned and frozen and stuff like that. You should use. I will say he'll probably run more successful on the attack than on the defense. More often than not, I think. Maybe he'll do better on the defense. I don't know. But you should be using this. I will say you should probably use this guy on the attack. You should control this monster. You should be the one deciding what moves it uses in an order. To take full advantage of his kit. Is this a guy a really good monster? Yes, he's a phenomenal monster. Do I wish people would stop comparing every Thunder monster that's good to Voltic? Yes, I would really like that. Voltic is just... It's pretty much the Call of Duty monster. If you watch the top 5 monsters I don't like in Monster Legends, it's Voltic. It's just not a fun monster and stuff like that. He's like again, Call of Duty monster. He breaks the logic of the game. That kind of monster. He's a logic breaker. It's just stupid. And I hate it. There's so many Thunder monsters in this game. There's Ura, there's Griffin, there's like Tempest. They're all just disregarded because Voltig is just stupid. I mean, like, he breaks the game. So why they have the comment? Some competitive most players are not. I'm not saying all the players, but a lot of players. I'm gonna say a lot of players have the common concept of, why should I use this monster when I have the most broken monster in the game, or why should I use this monster when there's like something that can move all the time, when I can do a lot of damage and just win the game instantly. Yeah, it just bothers me. It really does, because they don't. There's no room for like creativity and stuff like that. It's just like the same deal with Thetis. If you deny with Thetis, the game's over at that point. Once you use stamina drain, it's done. It's done. You don't have to argue. It's done. Unless there's that situation where they do get their ultimate. But yeah, okay. So partners with this guy. We're just gonna go straight to partners. Wounds for real quick, 3 speed, or like a life and 2 speed is the common supportive setup. Or you can do anti-deny, just deny 2, 3 speed and all that jazz. Partners, you need damage with this guy. I will say partners like Ringer, Atlas, anything that's not I will say things that aren't already immune to freeze and stuff like that, because those are the really strong monsters usually most of the time. Like the Ringer and stuff, like things that just if they move, you're done. Pretty much those kind of monsters. I guess you could run another denier if you wanted. You could run a buffer. You can run pretty much. It depends. Again, it depends on your needs and situation. For buffers, you could probably run. I don't know. You could probably run a Kalik. I'm gonna say that you can run Kalik with this guy. You can run Kalik and you can run Sarah. Either or. I mean, like, you're gonna have two. You're pretty much gonna be immune to the status effects the whole game, which is really nice. You're gonna be able to do that. I will say that. I will say totally run this guy with Kalik and or Sarah. A monster that's an attacker that does a lot of shit ton of damage, but it can be denied and shit. That's the best. Honestly, that's the best combination I'll have you guys do. That's all I really need to say about this monster. This monster is really good on the attack. Do use this monster on the attack. I'll say that 1,000 times. Use them against Voltic. I will say that. Use them against Voltic. Voltic won't be able to do shit. And you can easily probably pick up. Maybe you can probably pick up 3 coins too. I will say that you can probably pick up 3 coins. It's probably a really easy thing to do. You could probably do that. I'm not even kidding. You could probably do that. It's gonna be really stupid easy for you to win. Easily win a fight with that. As long as this guy is fast, you win. That's the basic end of it. Because Voltic isn't going to be able to do all of his multi-turns because you've drained all of his stamina. Voltic relies on all of his stamina. If it's all gone, then he can't do anything. So yeah, that's the bits and ends of Monster D.Vice. I'm DibtheAwesome. I'll talk to you guys later.